Hi, you're listening to The Expert Pod, where we interview business owners, experts, and consultants on the inspiration behind their business idea, their tips for achieving success, including their marketing and PR strategies, their key learnings, and of course, their mindset practices. Hope you enjoy the show.
Hello everyone, today we have Tegan Haining with us, who I have actually known for a very long time, possibly 15 years, possibly longer. So Tegan is a personal trainer. She used to train David Beckham, in fact, in London. She was also a former international model, is an author, is a media star in my book, and we are lucky enough to have her on the show. This time I'm interviewing her, not the other way around. So Tegan, can you please tell me, what are 3 things you cannot live without?
Hello, Brett. First, thanks for having me. Interesting being interviewed for a change. Sorry, what was the question now? I've forgotten.
What's 3 things you can't live without?
3 things I can't live without. I know, we asked, when you were prepping me for this question, the first thing that was really sad that popped into my head was my phone. And I thought, oh my God, am I really one of these people that can't live without their phones? But I thought, you know what? I run my business through my phone. I book my clients through my phone, scheduling social media, which is obviously for me, it's all business. I'm not putting a lot of things up there just for personal use a lot of the time. So when I went away on my holiday recently, I just took my phone with me. I didn't actually even take my computer. And I thought, if I can do this just from my phone, then that'll be awesome. And I could. So
that sounds like freedom to me.
Just check your phone once a day when you're on holiday and you can kind of keep on top of things. So that was good. What else? 2 more things that I can't live without. Oh God, I'm a bit of a sucker for my morning skincare routine, I have to say. I think, I've got quite bad pigmentation, which I've had since 2013. Suddenly my face decided to have a back attack and I got brown marks all over my face. So
I'm sure you're the only one who thinks that.
It's pretty good now. I've managed to even it out quite a bit, but it's due to a very diligent skincare routine, just certain serums and things that you have to use just to make sure you don't end up with these dark blotches. So I never leave home without my skin brightening cream to try and even it out. So that's one thing. And
I just bought my first brightener.
Did you?
Yeah, I didn't know how to use it, but now that you've told me it works, I'll start using it.
Yeah. The one I've got is cosmetics. It's a skin brightening serum that was given to me by a beautician who specialises in pigmentation. And you've got to put it on in the morning first thing and then in the evening as well. And then little tip for anybody out there that's suffering with pigmentation, any sunscreen you use, you've got to make sure there's zinc oxide in it, that there isn't just whatever's in the regular sunscreens or face creams that you buy. And it's pretty hard to find zinc oxide. I think that Invisible Zinc, that range that Megan Gale's the face of, I think they do it, but it's quite sticky. So usually you've got to go to a beautician and actually ask them for a moisturiser with zinc oxide in there, and that reflects the sun. Anyway, beauty tips from Tegan. And that would be the other thing then, my zinc oxide sunscreen, because without it, I literally would have a black moustache on top of my top lip here. So I don't, thanks to that. Sunscreen, everyone, wear it.
Don't you love when you find a product that actually works?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I stock up on it. I'll then go out and I'll buy, 2 lots of the sunscreen, 2 lots of the brightening cream, just to make sure I've got it all,
It's funny you should say that. I am a big fan. I'm a very big believer in backups.
Yes.
So everything I buy, I usually buy 2 or 3 of once I've bought it and I know it works every single time.
Definitely. Yeah.
You never know when something's going to get discontinued.
Or, you're just not going to have time to go and get it, especially if it's in a place like sometimes that I go to a clinic that's in Mosman, which no one knows what that is, but it's an hour, it could be a 45-minute drive from where I live.
You go all the way to Mosman?
Yeah, I know, they're good.
They must be good.
It's a good spot. I'll tell you about that later.
Okay. I can't wait to hear all about it. It really helps to have a good beautician.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially if they're not selling you everything in the kitchen sink while you're trying to relax.
Yeah, and you can see as well, I like it when they're obviously doing the things that they're recommending as well. They're not just kind of saying, oh, use this because it's the product that they're selling in their store.
Absolutely. Have you gotten onto Dermapen yet?
No, I haven't gone to a dermapen.
Oh my God, it's like being in hell, but it works so well.
Is that where they do it's up and down on your face? Is it a laser?
No, it's basically like a tattoo needle, and they just like cut your whole face so that the...
Sounds relaxing.
Oh, it's awful. But after I turned 30, I was like, I want to extend my life of not having Botox for as long as possible.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, like I'm going to start doing things, and oh my God, it's seriously the worst, but it works so well.
Oh God, sounds horrible. I'm almost sold on that. I'll have to ask because that's the thing with these treatments as well. When you do have bad pigmentation, sometimes you can't do certain treatments because they've never mentioned that to me, and that might be why, because with your pigmentation it makes it come up well, it either makes it worse or makes it go away and then come back worse.
Interesting.
So you've got to make sure that you're not doing things that you shouldn't be doing. But anyway, I'm going to ask them about that.
Yeah,
where's my dermapen?
Well, I mean, I do it for 3 months over winter, and your skin looks a little bit haggard during that time.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it looks like this. But kind of 4 weeks-ish later, like after the 3rd month, I just find it looks good for like 3 months. And then it's winter again, and then you do it again.
Right, okay, good trick. Perfect.
So why did you decide to become a trainer?
Well, I became a trainer, as you mentioned before, we've known each other for a very long time, back from our modelling days. And I think, I started modelling when I was 17 and travelling when I was 18 with that, and did so then for the next 6 years. And really, while I was travelling, I had no idea. 17-year-old kid, 17, 18-year-old leaving home, I had no idea how to cook. I had no idea how to make nutritious meals that were going to keep me in shape. I didn't really even understand. Like, this was 18 years ago now. There was no Instagram. There was no internet, actually, going and searching, Googling for recipes and healky food and nutrient dense meals.
And Victoria's Secret models health tips.
Exactly. There was none of this stuff. If you knew how to cook, it was because your mum and dad had taught you how to cook. And no dissing my mum and dad, like they taught me what they knew to teach me. But suddenly you get overseas and you're a model, and I was eating dinner at 10 o'clock at night. I was just running on the treadmill. I was still gaining weight. My agency was telling me I was fat. They were telling me to do sit-ups. Oh yeah, you're in Asia, especially when you're in Asia, they want you to be sort of an Asian size 4, which is God, probably
6 here, maybe.
Yeah, maybe 6 here. And I mean that's tiny. And I didn't have any idea how to lose weight. I didn't have any idea how to cook in a way that would make me have a flatter tummy. And so that was where the interest sort of started. And I think I was 21 when I did my first nutrition course. It was just one of these little ones that you could kind of buy and do while you're on the road.
But it's a good start to know if you want to go down that track.
Yeah, and I just found it fascinating, suddenly realising that your food played such an important part, especially on your belly fat, which was my only ever problem. I was always skinny and lanky everywhere, but I called it my Sri Lankan spare tyre. The only place I gained weight was around my waist, around that little bit that hangs over your jeans, which no one else can see except your modelling agent that looks at you and goes, maybe don't eat too much while you're here, okay? Like, I got those sorts of ones in Milan, So that piqued my interest. And then when I settled in Sydney when I was 24, I ended up signing up with Origin of Energy, which is a gym that's still over there in Bondi Junction, and I got my personal training certificate through them, I think by the time I was 26.
That's awesome. I still remember when you first started, you used to take some clients down near the outdoor gym in Bondi.
Yes, the outdoor gym and Cooper Park stairs.
Yeah, that's right.
Stairs. Oh my
because
God.
I wasn't working out at that point, and then I'm like, Tegan's working out. Like, because my agency would never let me train because they were like, no, you'll get too muscular. And I always looked like a skeleton, like the whole time. It was awful. Like, when you're not training at all, so you're like really lean here, and then like you've got your hip bones, which you obviously can't get rid of.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're just your body over your skeleton. There's no muscle tone there. And I think that's a big thing, for thin girls. I've been talking about this a bit lately with people, it's just because someone's skinny doesn't necessarily mean that they're fit and therefore healthy as well. They're not strong. their bone density could suffer. You know, just because a girl is naturally thin doesn't mean she should shy away from lifting weights completely. And lifting weights doesn't have to mean you're trying to do a 1 RM, you know, deadlift in the gym. You're not trying to lift 100 kilos up once off the floor. It can be even lifting 2 kilo hand weights in a Pilates class and doing high repetitive movements is great for improving your muscle tone and therefore your bone density, you know.
I really struggle with those 1 kilo weights in Pilates class.
They're evil.
They're evil. You look at them, you're like, they're so easy, but they are not.
Yeah.
They're awful.
Personally, I would much rather go and do an actual weight training circuit in the gym than do those Pilates moves. They're so painful.
I know. You're just going like this for 20 minutes, just moving your arm like
evil.
really teeny tiny circles. It's awful.
Awful.
So how long have you been a trainer for now?
So since 2008, so 11 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Had 2 different lifetimes, Tegan.
Oh my God, I really have.
You
Honestly.
have.
Modelling from 17. I mean, because I finished modelling officially kind of at 17.
You finished at 17?
Sorry, at 35.
Yeah.
At 35. I'm 36, about to be 37 now.
Congratulations.
Trying to put all those dots together. Yeah. So yeah, and then, you know, I'm really blessed that I did get a passion for personal training and nutrition early on, you know, sort of mid-20s. Because, yeah, now I think it's great to have that vast experience that I've had by being a trainer for the past 11 years and seeing how the industry's changed. And obviously I lived in London as well for 4 years, so I was a trainer over there, and, you know, people do different things a little differently over there as well. So, yeah, it's good to have that experience.
Absolutely. So what are some of the main factors that helped you build your business?
Well, building my business, the 7-Day Quickie has been a big factor in that.
Such a good name.
It is a good name, yes. Shout out to David Tabane. He helped me come up with that name.
Oh, that's so good.
He did, yeah. We were kind of workshopping a whole bunch of things, and then that came out, and it was great. Yes, let's go with that. So it worked out well. But the Quickie was originally an online program. It was actually something that when I came back from London, I thought, okay, I want to come back. I want to write something that is going to tell people what I'm about, really, and my philosophy, my approach to training, and also be for those people that just want to kickstart their fitness rather than think they have to commit to a 3-month program. Some people just want to feel good in a short space of time, not think, oh, okay, you know, I've got to commit to no alcohol, no sugar, no dairy, all the rest of it for 12 weeks. It's a really long time for a lot of people. So I wrote the 7-Day Quickie as an online program, and then from there, through help from a certain publicist friend of mine named Brittany, yourself, we got on to, I think it wasn't the morning show. What was it?
It was Daily Mail to the Today Show, I think.
Yeah, you got the article in the Daily Mail, that's right. We got the coverage in the Daily Mail, and then they saw it and contacted you. No,
they contacted Instagram.
They contacted you. No. They got through the TV show. What was it?
That's it. The Today Show.
The Today Show.
Yeah. Channel 9.
Yes, they came to you and said, we want to interview Tegan on the show, talk to her about the Quickie. So I got onto there, and then that's what started the publishing deal, which was followed on, I think, about 6 months later.
That is so good. And one of the greatest stories, they come to you saying, I want a book on the 7-Day Quickie.
Yes, yeah, exactly. So basically I did have, well, there was 2 stages to it. I had a publisher come to me from Melbourne who basically pretty much said, we think that this online program would be amazing as a book. What do you think about, you know, doing that with us? And this is our publishing house and giving us a bunch of their books and that kind of thing. And they basically were offering me no money. It was kind of a way of them saying, we'll cover all the expenses to create the book, but we're not really going to pay you anything. It was something really small, like $1,000 or something, which in the grand scheme of things, if you think that this is your piece of work, it's going to be out there forever, $1,000 isn't a lot of money when they're covering the expenses as well. And so I kind of thought, if they want to make this into a book, maybe some other people do as well. And I have a friend who is a talent scout or a talent agent. And so I kind of ran it by him to sort of say, what do you think? Do you think that other people might be interested in this as well? And he went out and did a little bit of research for me, and long story short, jump over a few hurdles, we ended up getting a deal with Penguin.
That's
so that was
so good.
Way better. ended up going with them, and they had a proper offer, a proper deal for me, and they were still going to make the book and, you know, cover all those expenses. So it worked out really well.
It really goes to show how helpful people can be if you actually ask them a question.
Exactly. And I think that's it, right? I could have just said yes and been super excited. And I was super lucky to have even been offered a book deal.
It's huge.
With anyone. But just that little, you know, I think it's that trusting your gut, you know, to kind of think, okay, if someone's offering me this deal and I'm not quite happy with it, maybe I'll just ask around. Maybe there's something else out there that will be a little bit better. And if there's not, then great. They didn't know that I was asking around, you know. So,
but also, I guess considering like how keen so many people are to have a book deal, like so many people self-publish, for example. The fact that you were able to say no and walk away from something that was on the table for you to find something else, it's quite a bold move, and it really is good for sticking to your gut, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. I don't even think I thought of it as a bold move, because really I never really have any idea what I'm doing. I don't think a lot of people do. You know, you kind of just go with it, and you've got to do what you've got that gut feeling. Oh, I think this is what I need to do, and stick by, you know, that feeling, rather than just taking up every single offer that comes your way. Because if it's not working for you, if it's not on brand, you're going to regret it in the long run. You might go with it in the short term, but if I had gone with that book deal, I would have regretted it not long after. You know, if I thought, oh, maybe. And you know, it always helps just to ask advice. You don't have to commit to anything. Just ask people. I used to go and meet up with people and say to them, I just want to have a coffee with you because you're much smarter than me, because I know you're much more experienced in this field, whatever it was I was getting into, than I am. You know, I don't know anything about book publishing.
Of course not.
So I went and asked an opinion of people that were working in that arena, and they can say no if they want to, but at least you're asking the question rather than just saying yes to whatever pops up.
I think that's a really good call. That's one thing I've done a lot of in the last 4 years. I kind of am like, this is a great idea, let's do it. And then you build it, and then you see all the errors later. And now with my new one, I'm just like, can I have a meeting? What do you want on this platform? Like, tell me what you want.
Yes.
And if I like it, I will build it.
Yes.
So, yeah, it makes a bit of a difference.
Exactly. Definitely.
So has getting the 7-Day Quickie online and moving your business to be also online, has that really helped you grow?
Well, yes, absolutely. So I think I've had a bit of not a roller coaster ride, but you know when you see those images on Instagram and they've got this point here, sort of where you are, and then there's a point at the top where you want to be. And it's never a straight line, right? It's a big, giant, messy squiggle in the middle, and then it keeps going up. And I really think that's kind of, I mean, definitely for me, that's been my journey as well. You know, you kind of sometimes feel like you're going 2 steps forward and then 2 steps back, but you do have to just always keep going. And I think with the online, so I had my online program, and then I got the book deal relatively quickly. And then suddenly the book was launched within the same year. You know, I mean, really, when I got with the publishing agent, we finished off what I had already started with the online program and wrote it into a fully fledged out book in 6 weeks.
Wow.
So it was like all go. Once I signed that contract, there was no messing around. I worked with 2 editors for 6 weeks, and we just wrote this book, which is what it is today. And then after that, we did the photos. It was so funny, our first meeting, because me as a model background, you know, we got into this meeting in this massive boardroom, and the first thing I wanted to ask was, so when are we doing the photo shoot? And they were kind of like, no, we've got to write the book first, Tegan.
It's like, we don't know what photos we need
yet. Exactly. We've got no idea what the content's going to be yet or anything like this. Like,
you just needed to know when to start your 7-day quickie before the shoot.
Exactly. That's all I was worried about. So anyway, so you got to kind of trust the process a bit there. But then after I launched the book, though, I mean, what I could have done better post-launch was had another program, another online world for all of my viewers and readers to go into straight away. But I that first 6 months of 2018 was really promoting the book. And yes, I was super busy doing that as well, but really looking back, I wish now if I could do that year again, that I would have created more of an online world for myself while that was all going on, because then the book hype, it's always going to fade and always going to drop down, and then you need to still be engaging your audience in something else and something new to keep them interested. And I just didn't have that, end of last year. It was like, what am I doing now, and trying to figure that out.
Do you have something new coming?
I do have something new coming. I've launched my podcast, obviously, which you got interviewed on, Mindful Fitness. Everybody, go and check it out. I
love that podcast.
Yes.
I've taken some tips.
Yes, good. Yeah, it's just really now I want my online program is going to reflect that. I'm writing a 21-day Mindful Fitness boot camp for people, just so people can keep that theme of committing to a short period of time like they did with the 7-day quickie. But now it's going to really drill down into that more mindful approach, as in how am I keeping a positive mindset in the morning? What are my mindfulness practices? It doesn't have to be just meditating. It can be writing. It can be walking in nature. It can be even just thinking about what am I going to eat this week that's going to make my body feel good? How am I going to move my body to make my body feel good, and not being so hard on oneself all the time. I think it's this all or nothing approach, and I just want people to be more comfortable with thinking, how am I going to nourish my body and look after myself so that when I'm 60, I'm still going to be able to move and be free and out of pain? Because a lot of people are just, they're out for the bikini body, they're out for the butt lift, or they're trying to, just tone their arms or tone their abs, and that's all great. It's good to have short-term goals. But people need to be thinking more about flexibility. They need to be thinking more about keeping their core and their posture nice and tall, their body's nice and strong, so that when we're old and grey, we're not hunched over, we haven't got tight hips that are, putting our back out, we haven't got impingements in our shoulders, so we can't lift our arms over our heads anymore. I mean, think about when you were 20. You didn't think that by the time you got to 30 or 40, you were going to care about how you looked or how you felt. And now we're pushing 40 or 30 or wherever you are, or maybe beyond. Care. You still care. You still got the same brain. You're just a little bit older and wiser, but you still don't want to aesthetically look badly. You don't want to be in pain. You don't want to, so you've got to think long term. And that's just what I want to get across with the whole mindful fitness.
You know what? It's so spot on though, because seriously, for years I have been constantly injured. I've been constantly fatigued from doing all my hard workouts and, trying to get leaner by doing more squats, even though I want to lean everything out, which makes no sense. Since you told me to pull back, I have not had an injury in maybe 9 months.
Yeah, wow.
I can probably count on my hands the amount of bad sleeps I've had where wine wasn't involved. And, there's honestly something to it, because everyone's got this message, go hard, push harder, do this, do that. But, I mean, that's not right for everyone.
No, it doesn't work for everyone. And that's the thing. Yeah. There's no blanket approach to health and fitness. Everybody, and, I might be saying this and people are like, but I like training every single day. What do you mean? And if you like training every day, then great. But I would still challenge people to have a look at what they're doing and say, is it balanced? Am I stretching at least once a week? Because if you're not, you should be, 100%. If you're running every single day for an hour, I guarantee you that you are going to have lower back problems later on in your life, because those hamstrings and those calves are just tightening up with every single step. You've got to be stretching out. It can't be, and even the other way, if you're just weightlifting in the gym, that you've got to be lengthening and stretching your body out there too, and doing a little bit of cardio every now and then. If you're running, you've got to be doing a bit of strength training now and then. It's got to be balanced. It can't be kind of all or nothing.
Now I've learned from experience.
Now you agree.
Now I agree.
Yes.
Whereas in the past, if someone told me to cut out that high intensity session, I would have been like, please, I am hardcore. Yes. I can do this.
Yes.
But no, I couldn't. I got sick.
Yeah, totally.
So you get featured in the media quite a lot. What is the best piece of coverage that you've received to date, in your opinion? The most memorable?
Well, yeah, I mean, I do think that first Today Show, was it Today Show? I can't remember.
I'm sure it was Today.
It was the Today Show, and then the second time, because I did two. I remember The first one I did was before the book was out, and then the second one was once the book was launched. I think that was the morning show later. That was a different one.
The first one would have been in our time on was...
Maybe that was Sunrise. No, it was Sunrise.
Yeah, in Martin Place.
Yes. That's right.
Yeah.
The second one was Sunrise. So both of those are probably, the highlights for sure, because it's great going on TV and being able to talk about your book and know that you're, getting such a massive audience, such a massive following from those. So they were great. Thank you, Brittany. They were great pieces of media, and I'm just trying to think. Oh, and of course the Women's Health Fitfluential.
Oh, that was cool.
2018. That was pretty cool, making that list. Women's Most Fitfluential. I can't even say that properly. Yeah.
Fitfluential.
Fitfluential, yes.
I don't think it's meant to be said aloud.
No.
Just read.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, read privately. You can't try and say it to yourself. Yeah, so that was pretty cool as well.
That's awesome. So what are some of the highlights or successes that you have had to date in your business? Like, what are your proudest moments?
Well, yes, back to the book again. Obviously, the book was great. Obviously, even even jumping back to my time over in London when I worked at Bodyism with James Digan, and he used to be our McPherson's trainer. That's how I got to train David Beckham and train Maddie Imbruglia and Lara Stone, Hugh Grant, a whole bunch of people. Name drop. Yeah, I only trained him twice, I think, but.
You still got some FaceTime.
Yeah, I trained him twice, and I think I almost actually trained him a little bit too hard. I mean, he's a Brit, like, no offence to British people, but oh, wait, where am I going with this? No offence to any British people. That wasn't supposed to be Brit. They don't train hard, but I trained Hugh, and he's a little bit of an eccentric character, wouldn't call him super fit, and I guess when I was training him, I had a program. I was sticking to my program. I wasn't going to adjust it or anything, and it ended up being quite challenging for him. And I saw him again, and he said I'd given him the bra of fire, and it was this pecs were killing. And he was, I was like, oh, sorry. So that was pretty good, being over in London and being able to work with all of these amazing bodies and amazing people, and we had such a great team over there too at Bodyism. I really like being part of a group team environment. So yeah, it was a bit of a highlight back then, back in 2012. We had a couple of really good years there.
And what have been some of your roadblocks?
Roadblocks would have been, so we had the whole Bodyism thing, and then I left London, and then I moved back to Australia, and that was exciting as well as being a roadblock, if that can really make sense. It was, looking back on it, it was something that was, oh shit, what am I going to do now, kind of thing. But then you overcome that, and you find out what it is you want to be doing and the direction you want to go. And then I decided, I want to make this online program, keep seeing clients here in Australia, and then, I ended up getting a book deal, and now, here we are. So that was definitely a moment in time where, you're changing countries, you're moving back home, and you're thinking, okay, I'm not going to have the same client base that I had. What am I going to charge? I used to be £175 an hour in London to train over there, and you kind of come back to Australia and you're like, shit, what am I going to charge over here? Because you can't charge people, what's that conversion? It's like $350 or something.
At least, depending on the time of the year, I guess.
Exactly. So what am I going to come back here and tell people, oh, you can train with me, it'll only cost you $350? People be like, no, how about?
Having said that, there's certain people who would probably be like, so proud to have a personal trainer who costs $350.
That's true, exactly. But, they probably have to get, a little massage, little pep talk at the end of every session, because that's a lot of money for sure. For Australian market, it doesn't really work like that.
No.
The money is there in London, but it's not there over here. So, when you change countries and your business moves with you, you've really got to work through a whole lot of different parameters, that you didn't really know were there. So that was been one thing. And then what else, I think? And yeah, as I said and mentioned before, probably that learning curve of keeping the momentum going is really important. Just because you've got one success in the works and you're riding that wave doesn't mean you just sort of stop and enjoy everything. You've got to be thinking about what's coming next, and just keep in touch with your audience all the time, because social media, man, I tell you all the time how much I hate Instagram, but it's a blessing. And, you know,
And a curse.
it is a blessing. It is a curse because it's a pain.
Yeah.
But you've got to figure out a way to do it, you know, for you. I think it's a way that works. And
But it's just important to like show your audience that you're interested, and also to, I don't know, like have a platform where they can talk to you and engage with you, and you can keep sharing your message, because it's such a cluttered space.
exactly.
That you just need to be there.
Yeah. And then I'm also doing a bit of work on that too. And I think, you know, knowing your audience is also super important. And I listen to a online marketing person, Amy Porterfield, a lot, which everyone out there that's interested in, you know, marketing their business online should listen to her. She's so good and just gems of
writing that
information.
down.
Yeah, Amy Porterfield. She's got a great podcast. I think it's called Online Marketing Made Easy. But she's just really good at helping you just to drill down into who is your actual ideal customer, you know, because you know, and maybe people can tell me if they're listening, but I think my customer base is one thing, but I think it's actually something else. And I'm just doing some work at the moment in just really refining that, because that's what helps you create your content and create the direction that you're trying to go, and make sure everything's in alignment, and you're not kind of going, oh, look at this thing, let's do that for a little while, oh, look over here, let's do that one as well, and, you know, jumping back and forth between projects. You just don't get anywhere, you know.
I'm guilty of that. I'm like, shiny new toy, let's do that.
Yeah, exactly. Let's play with this shiny new toy over here, and you do that diligently for, you know, 3 months, and then you drop it and you go, oh, what else can we do? And you go back the other way. Yeah.
It's funny, as you know, I've had a lot of issues with web developers. Before I've fixed 2.0, my Expert Hub site, I've already come up with another one that I'm going to do, and my flatmate's like, Britt, your last website's not fixed yet. I'm like, I'm getting a new developer, don't worry. She's like, that's not the point.
Yes, exactly. You've got to kind of just stick with one thing. That's it's not my New Year's resolution, but if I had one, it would be just to stick with one thing for a year, you know, for a whole year, and just see it through before you drop it and move on to something else, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, I guess the ideas work hand in hand, but still.
Yeah.
So if you could do it all again, is there anything else you would have done differently?
Well, I mean, you know, I've always travelled so much. I guess it's been, you know, I literally was on the move. Well, I did live in Sydney for 5 years, from 24 to 29. But apart from that, you know, I was in London for 4 years, and then moving around while I was in London. So I was often in Italy and Turkey and the Maldives. We had gyms in all those places, which was
so fun.
You know, such a blessed life. But yeah, I did move around a lot, and maybe I don't know if that's the best thing really to do for building your brand and your relationships and that kind of stuff. There is value, as I said, in just staying in one place and being grounded and networking within your environment. But in saying that, there's also pluses to, you know, also having a global network of people that you can call on. So it's just that consistency thing for me. That's just the main thing that I need to work on, just sticking to one thing and seeing it through.
It is great advice.
Yeah.
If you could tell the public one thing, what would your message be? It doesn't have to be work-related. It can be anything.
Well, yeah. I mean, I guess trust your gut would be one thing. Don't let yourself stay in uncomfortable situations. That's a big thing. I think that's just getting out there a little bit at the moment. You know, if you're not comfortable in a work situation or a life situation of any kind, whether it's to do with your own business or with personal relationships, just get out of it. Just say no. You know, I don't like this. Something's wrong. Step back, reevaluate your position, and just see if there's a different way you can pivot or move, you know, in a different direction to get what you want out of your relationships, out of your business, whatever it is, because you just want to be happy in the end, right? And you're not going to be happy if you're doing something that doesn't feel good. So you've got to just kind of, I think we all need to just sort of take a little step back sometimes and have a look at the big picture, have a strategy for how you're going to get where you want to be, and accept that there's going to be roadblocks. Roadblocks are a part of life, and you just got to really believe in where you're going and stay on the path, you know, keep going, don't give up, and try not to pick up too many little shiny objects side to side. Yes, they're there, and you can pick them up. And of course, if they're beneficial to your overall goal and your overall destination, then they might benefit your business, you know. But as I said, you need to step back and evaluate that, and then also make sure that it's not going to take up too much of your time working on that overall destination, you know.
Absolutely. And what is your favorite mantra or rule to live by?
Oh, God. Well, actually, I always change my mantras. I have so many on circulation. What's the one I've got written on my whiteboard at the moment at home? I think it's the antidote to self-doubt is action.
I love that.
Yeah, I liked it too. That's why I wrote it on the board. The antidote to self-doubt is action.
But the thing is, so many people just like sit back and just wait, like, oh, I'll do it later. But then you get scared of it.
Yeah. I mean, this is a bit embarrassing to say because it shows you that I have a really dumb side. But
we all do, Tegan.
I was on Survivor. I'm a massive fan of saying affirmations, you know, and believing in vision and you know, creating vision boards and all this kind of stuff.
I've never done one. I need to.
Yeah, vision boards are great. I mean, listen, you can do vision books and read them at the end of the day when you're in bed, that kind of thing. A lot of other people like boards, you know, so they can have it up in their office and look at it, you know, whenever they need to. I'm a big fan of doing these kind of things, visualization practices, you know, and having affirmations to go with it. But if you don't, you know, take action to get those visions in the works, you know, to get moving towards it, then nothing's going to happen. You can't just sit back and say, I want a shiny new toy, and, you know, and you don't walk to the shop and give money and get the toy, then you're not going to get the toy. You know, so I was on Survivor and literally there, I think I remember saying affirmations like on the beach on Survivor, like, I'm going to win Survivor, this is going to happen. And, you know, saying all these different things like to try and think of ways that I could win and ways that I could network on the show, but then actually being too shy and I was too freaked out by the cameras and these huge microphones over us all the time to actually take action and create the networks and the bonds that you need to make on Survivor to then get to the end and win, you know? So big takeaway from that was action. You've just got to overcome your fears and not be shy. Just ask the questions, put yourself out there, take action, and then that's how you get over self-doubt or depression or anything that's holding you back, you know?
That's so good. And finally, how can people find you?
People can find me on my website, teganhaining.com, or Instagram is also Tegan Haining, and Haining is like raining, but with a H. Oh, I've said that
I was just going to say, are we going to have to spell this for them?
We're going to spell that, yeah. Teganhaining.
At least Tegan is spelled the normal way.
Exactly, yes. Well, you never know. Like, people still get creative. There's double E's or there's IEs in there. There's all sorts. So.
Oh, well, people always spell my name like I'm a cheerleader. I'm like, no. Thank you so much, Tegan.
Thanks for having me, Brett.